the week going?
Awesome.
Really?
Yes.
Woo!
So tonight we're going to continue talking kind of about the birds and the bees. Josh kind of started it last week. This week I'm going to go a little bit deeper with you guys. So for me it's a little uncomfortable, but for y'all I'm sure it's going to make you a little nervous, but we're all going to be okay at the end, okay? So the topic of the subject is the talk, and it's called Don't Pet the Squirrel. So, so I knew I was going to laugh. So this preacher, he actually was like sitting in a yard or somewhere. I don't really know quite where he was. But anyway, like the squirrel came running up. And he was like, kind of looking at the squirrel. And the squirrel jumped up on him. And like he thought, like squirrels are crazy. Like, do y'all know anything about squirrels?
Yes.
Okay. You don't want to be around the squirrel. They'll attack you anyway. So the squirrel jumped up in his lap. And so he didn't have nothing to do, but he petted the squirrel. So he got one stroke in of petting the squirrel, and the squirrel just was sitting there. So he did another stroke, and he petted the squirrel, and the squirrel just sat there. And he went to do the third stroke, and the squirrel was just attacked him. So the main topic of it is don't pet the squirrel. So you get into a relationship with somebody, and you maybe hold hands the first date, then maybe the next date you give a little hug, then maybe the next day you give a pet, then maybe the next day you all that. Whatever. And then the next day you might go to the, we don't want to go there. But anyway, so the preacher was speaking about the squirrel. Don't pet the squirrel, because when you pet the squirrel, eventually your relationship is going to be, all that. So anyway, I don't know, y'all stop. So people think sex before marriage is not a big deal. Well, it's a huge, huge, huge deal because you want something better. So when I started doing this lesson for y'all, I started thinking about things I could really talk to y'all on, and I watched a preacher speak, and anyway, all this came to me. So talk about sex before marriage. It can break your relationship before you know it. You need to wait because you get attached, then broken, then crushed, then it goes on and on. So I kind of went back to myself there, and I thought about when I first started dating. You have little elementary boyfriends or whatever. That's nothing. So when I got to 7th grade, I had a really big, huge relationship, and I think I talked to y'all about it when I gave my testimony, but that's actually when I gave my virginity up. And I thought about that because when I did that, I remember now thinking back on it, I did that, and it was like when I did it, it broke us because we were best friends. This was somebody that he was truly my best friend at the time. And so at that time, I think back now, because right after I did that, within a 6-month period, he cheated on me. So I started thinking in my mind, wow, what if I would have not done that? What if I would have seriously not done that? And then I started thinking, Sunday night, I think is when I did it, the message, I started thinking, this is something, and I'm going to touch base on it in a minute, but I want to make a point here, that when I did that, I slept with somebody's former husband. That wasn't who I'm with today. So, and he was married, he's divorced now, but I do know that I did that. And so I think back of our relationship was so perfect, and it went for, I don't know, probably 6 months to 8 months maybe of me not doing that, and how great of a relationship I had. But then when I took that hug, that walking to the movie, holding the hand, to the kiss, to the on and on and on, you can go there, it ruined things. It broke me. And that was my first real big relationship. My second big relationship, I still wasn't where I needed to be with God, and I did the exact same thing. I started dating a guy that I dated for 6.5 years, and it was the longest relationship I had. And I thought about how great that relationship was up until the point I did that. Once I did that, then he cheated on me. And I'm not going to say I never did anything wrong, because in other relationships I did cheat on people. But I just think about when I took that step of going that far, it ruined a relationship. So, the point is that sex is a gift from God. So don't think of it. This is what I thought about also is from just reading in my Bible and really trying to get y'all's message together, is all I ever heard about growing up and my relationship with my parents. Y'all know how it was before we're great today, but how it was in high school is all I ever heard was, no. You don't have sex. No, you're not. You do not have sex. Me and my mom's first big argument was a pregnancy test she found underneath my dresser. And that's when I started hating her because she was so into my stuff. But I think about that, at that time, she just kept telling me, she was so mad at me because she knew I was doing that. And she kept telling me, no, you can't have sex at this age. No. And I don't know if y'all hear that or not, but a lot of times in the world today, that's all you hear is, no, don't do that. Well, the big thing that I'm here to tell y'all tonight is to wait. It's not to say, no, you can't do it. Sex is not bad, but it's not good for where you are right now. Sex is made for when you make that commitment to God and to your spouse, husband or wife, and you commit to the Lord and you marry that person. That's when it's meant to happen. How far is too far? If you're dating in a relationship, think about like if you're at the movie and you're at the movie with your boyfriend, and your boyfriend's sitting here, and all of a sudden you're holding hands, you're leaning in, and the next thing you know, well, I don't know about y'all, I didn't shave today, but if you put your clean shaved legs up on him and put him up on his legs, there's going to be another movement there made. So think about if you're at the movie and you're sitting next to your boyfriend and you just cross your legs, put your arm around him, and watch the movie. So the good way to think about that is when you're on a date and you say, well, I just took a next step. Are you honoring God or are you dishonoring God? Are you honoring God by putting your arm around her or him? Or are you honoring by throwing a leg up? You just need to think of it like when you do something else, is this honoring God or dishonoring God? 4 things I want you guys to know about. This was a good one. You can't have safe sex. And I remember hearing that a lot of times growing up, I'm on birth control so we can have sex. Or, I've got a condom, we can have sex. It just from, y'all can laugh, I promise it's fine. Anyway, if you have sex, birth control, condom, what's the things they give you that where you can't get pregnant? No. Keep going. Anyway, so you can't have safe sex because you can't keep your heart safe. That's like the best thing that I wish somebody would have told me that back when I was 15 years old. You can't protect your heart. And that's what's going to hurt you in the long run. You're taking a gift from God to do an act. This, like the body you see every morning, is a gift from God. Like this is your temple. So at y'all's age and even older, if you're not married, this is your temple. So you're dishonoring His temple when you do that. Okay? And then this is where I go into the sleeping with somebody else's future spouse. Like that. Just let that sink in for a second. Like just really just think about it. Like I'm not saying that you might not down the road be with that person. I know a lot of high school sweethearts, but when I think back to it now, like, wow. Like I slept with a lot of future wife's husbands. So, sex outside marriage is setting a compromise. You're setting standards, disrespecting God's will. 1 Corinthians verse 18 says, flee from sexual immorality. So it's telling you to not be around that. You don't need to do that. There's 4 things that I want to tell y'all that just is good advice, and some of them are kind of funny, but it really makes sense. Keep others informed of your limits up front. So like if you start dating Bob tomorrow or you start dating Sarah next week, say, hey look, like holding your hand, maybe a kiss on the cheek or the lip, that's all I'm doing. Like I'm not in this for anything else. I'm following God's will. That's one good step. The second one, this is a funny one. Keep 4 feet on the floor. Keep 4 feet on the floor. That means arms and legs. Okay? Keep everything. What did they say? Keep everything buttoned and zipped, because it's hard to get naked like that. Okay. There's a lot of people turning red. Keep your mouth shut. And I don't mean like bad things. No playing tonsil hockey. Like, you know. Okay.
Can you do that one more time?
Somebody's probably recording. Ashley's or Josh, one of y'all probably. Okay. You can kiss. Not saying don't kiss, but normally kissing leads into other things. Okay. So just don't do that. Don't do tonsil hockey. So another thing was personal connection. Like the preacher I listened to, he was saying like, you know, like a girl's walking or whatever, and right, yeah, Ryan's bad about this. Like it is so annoying to me. Sorry, but when you're walking somewhere and like this is a pet peeve for me, but like Ryan will go like, and it's like your butt can't function. Like if you're gonna put your hand here on a girl, eventually it's probably gonna move to the front. So just keep it in her hand. Same way for you girls, don't put your hand on her leg and move it up. It doesn't need to go like that, okay? Sorry, I just don't like when you do that. We'll probably get punished after this. Does not matter how old you are. If you're 9, 11, 15, 18, your body does not belong to you. Jesus honored you and gave his life for you. God forgives us and makes us new. Pursue Jesus in purity. So, my best friend in high school growing up, she was buck wild. And I'm not saying I wasn't buck wild, but she was buck wild. She was very, very pretty, blonde hair, cotton blonde top, and she really did struggle with guys, because guys would be like, oh my God, you're so pretty and hot, and they'd want to date her. And she'd date one, and she did have a few long distance relationships, and she stayed in relationships a lot though. She would break up with somebody, go with somebody else, break up with somebody, and I know that she was having sex. I know that, with her best friend. So, something I thought about for y'all was, if she lived that life almost to about, I would say, I moved here in 2007, so I would say probably around 2005 it kind of stopped. Maybe, yeah, 2005 it stopped. And she came to Jesus, and she had been a Christian before, you know, this stuff. She was going to church, you know, doing things, but she got on the wrong path. Well, finally one day, she's a model, and she got into the model industry, and she's in Los Angeles, California now. And one day she just said, hey God, I'm sick of this. I'm tired of living this life. I'm not going to live it anymore. So she gave her heart to the Lord, and her dad bought her a purity ring. And it's like just a little bitty silver. I tried to find a picture from the thing she did at church, but I couldn't. It's just a silver cross ring, and it's a purity ring. And I can't tell you the dedication when she did it. She did it in front of her whole church. It wasn't a big church, but she told everybody her story. And she told everybody that she had slept with many and many people, you know, from high school up until her college years. And she told them, she said, I'm changing myself. I'm giving my heart to the Lord, and I'm gonna restart my life. So since she's had that purity ring on since 2005, I can promise you, she has not slept with one person. Her relationships are totally different with guys. She blows them off. She doesn't invest in that time. She's looking for a guy who knows Jesus, who she wants to marry, and she wants to spend that night when they get married restarting that life that she didn't have before. She wants her husband at this point to be the one that she spends that special night with. And I can tell you that she has been criticized. she's been criticized, and she's been beat up for it. But at the end of the day, she knows that she's gave her heart to Jesus. And one day it will really count. And she might not have that night that most people have, where it's the first time with somebody, because she did lose that a long time ago, her virginity, but she restarted her life, and she has really been faithful in it. And she's been hurt, abused, people make fun of her, but it's the best thing. That my main point is that if something like that's happened to y'all, it's not too late. It's not too late to say, God, I'm tired of living this life. I don't want to do this anymore, and I want to wait. I don't want to do this right now. I know it's not what you want for me. Like I said, He forgives us. He makes us new. If you pursue in Him in purity, He will forgive you. It'll be a totally different change for y'all. Don't let people run you down because you stand up for Him. Confess to Jesus with your mouth. He forgives right now. Just ask. So I'm going to ask Josh to come up and pray for us, and then I think we're going to break off into our groups. Okay?